So make sure you tune in.
Yeah. Meant to say as well, Franz Ferdinand on tour right now, I believe, or certainly coming up very soon. There we go, this month.
19th of October.
Should have got Hammond to advertise that. Sold out in a second.
There you go. They were good, weren't they? They're so good. They had everyone rocking.
Brilliant.
You can't see behind the cameras, but everyone is rocking.
You don't want to see
cameras.
behind
It's
the
amazing.
cameras, sure.
Now, if you're on the hunt for love slightly later in life, there's only two people you need to call. It's the Date Busters, and they're here. Giles Brandreth and Carol Vorderman. They are back. They are the Date Busters, and they are here to help you. Our phone lines have absolutely been ringing off the hook, haven't they? Everyone wants to get involved. Everyone wants a bit of the Carol. Everyone wants a bit of the Giles. So let's take our first call, which is Jill in East Sussex. Good morning, Jill. Now, you're in your 70s, Jill.
Good morning. Late 70s, yes.
Jill, come on.
Jill, tell us a little bit about your life and what you want to ask the Date Busters.
Well, I actually had a business in Mayfair, London, and looked after lots of stars, film stars. I actually met Giles Brandreth when I was going to Westminster Abbey to Laurence Olivier's Thanksgiving service.
Hello.
And I just sold my 650cc motorbike.
Yeah.
And bought a sports car, and I just think, look at me, I'm sitting here in a lovely flat now in Hove, too frightened to go online dating. You just think, oh my God, who am I going to meet? And you just get a little bit fearful of that. But it would be lovely, somebody who likes sports, maybe a bit of horse racing, love Wimbledon tennis. Just be lovely to find a good companion that you can trust.
So just to précis, Jill's late 70s. She's just sold a motorbike, bought a sports car, and and sold a successful business in Mayfair. Jill, I don't think you're going to have any trouble whatsoever.
Doesn't she sound fun?
Yes.
We met, as she told you, at the memorial service for Sir Laurence Olivier, the greatest actor of the 20th century. Lord Olivier, as he became, which suggests to me that she loves the theatre.
Yeah. And
people need people. To find happiness, you need to be a leaf on a tree, part of something that's bigger than you, that is still growing. So my advice would be, don't look urgently for love, but get out there in the world that you like. For example, join a club that takes people regularly from Hove to the West End to go to shows. Even join your local amateur dramatics group.
Or a choir.
Absolutely. Or you could do... I went to this is a long time ago, to my grandfather's funeral. And at the back of the church, there were three old ladies who didn't look like relatives. And it turned out they weren't. The undertaker said, oh, no, they come to everything. They meet some quite interesting people here. So you could, actually, haunt the local funerals. Because you meet nice people coming out and you know they're still alive. My earlier suggestion is the more serious one.
Yeah. Carol, what have you got to say to Jill?
Well, Jill, I think you're a wonderful woman. And for a start, to sell a motorbike and buy a sports car in your 70s, you're a woman after my own heart. But I'm sure, Jill, that you recognise that, I'm nearly 62 now, and our mothers told us that we should marry when we were still 18 or 19 or 20 years of age. So we grew up with this convention that you should find one partner for life, and as all the good fairy tales tell you, then they married and they lived happily ever after. My view is not quite like that. If people do have a very happy and long marriage, that is wonderful, and congratulations, genuinely. But the fact is that half of first marriages end in divorce, and almost 3/4 of second marriages end in divorce. So I prefer to live my life, and people should, I believe, speak about it in this way, in chapters. You try to have happy chapters, and I think that's what you're looking for next, Jill, is a happy and fulfilled chapter. But like Giles said, I think it's about the people who are like-minded. So have you ever thought about going to an F1 race, Jill? Have you ever thought about going to MotoGP or something like that, where you perhaps travel a little and you just need someone to go with you and scream at all the racing cars with you?
Yeah, I've got to share in a racehorse with a top trainer, but living in Sussex, leaving London, it's just such a huge change.
Yeah, I mean, change is something that older people find very difficult to cope with. Change, as we know, is good for you. Change is the salt in the soup of life.
Yes.
But one of the other secrets of being happy is to cultivate a passion. And you had a passion when you were running your business, and you had a passion when you were on your motorbike. Now those have gone. You've got a beautiful apartment in a beautiful part of the world. You've got a lovely car, but you think, oh, actually, what have I got today?
It's empty. Yeah.
It's empty. And that means you've got to get out of that beautiful flat and you've got to pursue your passion, whether it's theatre, whether it's racing, meeting other people. And then who knows, one of them may become a special friend.
Yeah. The great thing is you have passions, right? I mean, that's the
Yes,
most marvellous thing is to
absolutely.
have interests and have things you love, you get up in the morning for, you know?
Church is a good place as well. Get yourself into church. Some fitties in there, you know. Pray to God for a man.
Absolutely.
How good is that? Jill, thank
thanks
you so
a lot.
much for joining us.
Amazing.
Let's go to Michael in Warwickshire.
Hello, Michael.
Morning, Michael.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi.
How's it going,
Hi, Michael.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael.
Well, since lockdown, I now work in my apartment. I used to have an office over in Birmingham where I commuted, and I used to get to socialise and meet people in a kind of open office environment. But since lockdown, I've moved and I work from home now, so it's difficult to get out to meet people, which is problem number one. Although I do get people coming up to my cute little dog saying how cute she is, but all the girls are either with boyfriends or married.
Yeah.
So it's funny listening to that previous lady. I'm into motorsport and I'm currently developing a motorsport app, but all the girls I've dated all think motorsport is boring, cars going round and round and round. But my question to both Carol and Giles and yourselves is, I'm 52 on the 18th, and I'm young in my outlook. I've got no kids. I keep myself fit. But where do I pitch myself for the age bracket? Because there's some ladies out there, I mean, Carol for one, who looks like she's in her early 50s, are devastatingly attractive, but would they be looking at a guy who's in their early 40s, or do I still look for the younger, early 40s, mid-40s?
Good question. I think it's a fair
question.
It's
question.
a very good question.
Or
And
this
it
link
is a
from Jill,
question-
do you go for your late 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a question of our time, Michael, and I'm really happy that you've asked it because, OK, where do we begin on this one? I live my life in chapters, as I said, and this chapter, since I was about 50, so for the last decade or so, I've lived a life which is much freer. I've never felt freer. So I have ignored the looking for one person, and I have a number of what I would call special friends.
Friends.
Special
I love
friends.
finding out about this stuff.
Great, isn't it?
I love getting a little glimpse into your life, Carol.
Well, what is interesting is that language, Michael, it sort of determines. There will be people watching and go, oh, what she does is, and they're negative connotations towards
Exactly.
a woman. And they shouldn't be, because younger generations than me have much of freer approach to sexuality. So after heterosexuality, the second most popular is bisexual, right? My generation, you can't talk about that. But then again, very sadly, my generation couldn't talk about being gay because it was illegal at the time. So society has changed. And I think, Michael, you say that you have this younger mind, then why shouldn't you look for perhaps older people with a younger mind or younger people who have this? Because I do think that attitudes in society are changing quite radically.
There are many successful relationships between older and younger people. I think of the great Dame Joan Collins and her lovely husband Percy, who clearly get on famously and are really happy after a number of years. I think of Barbara Windsor and her husband. Scott, a lovely couple, very successful. The disadvantage of having somebody as your partner who's a different generation is that your experiences, your attitudes are different. Think of the great lovers of history, Romeo and Juliet, Troilus and Cressida, Andy Pandy and Looby Loo, the people of my generation, Kermit and Miss Piggy. They were all of a similar generation. They'd had similar experiences. So though I'm jokey about it, on the whole, I think somebody roughly the same sort of age.
I would fervently disagree with that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I would absolutely fervently disagree with that, because that, particularly for women of age 60 plus, as I said before, we were taught that we should marry somebody who would look after us. Now, the vast majority of women work, whether they want to work or have to work, they work. And so they are, but there'll be a lot of women my age watching thinking, do you know what, I don't really want to marry again. I don't really want to live with a man again and have to look after him all the time. So, this is a time to break this nonsense taboo, which is a person should only be looking for one other person that satisfies everything in their life. That's a hell of a pressure
Possible,
to put on
right?
somebody.
Miss, you know I broke my arm. If my wife hadn't lived still with me, I wouldn't have been able to get dressed for the last month.
No.
Exactly.
No, you would have hired somebody to come and help you.
Carol,
I'd have hired somebody.
Carol, the question I want to know is how many special friends?
Do you have?
But how many special friends does your diary permit?
And does all your special friends know about each other?
Yeah, are they special friends to each other?
No, they don't know each other. But they know about each other.
Yeah.
Because it's a very honest relationship.
many-
And I
They
should
know
say
even more about each other now.
Well, they don't. But the important thing is, people go, no. It's not like that.
Yeah. I
One
get
of
it.
them has gone on for many more years than my marriage.
Another year.
It's over 10 years. Another is 7. He's an astronaut.
He's not
Rang
7
me
years
from the
of
space
age. He's
station.
7.
Yeah, rang me from the space station.
How cool is
Yeah.
that, going out of an astronaut?
Amazing.
And obviously you're not going to see him very often.
Yeah,
So it's great.
It was off.
To answer Michael's question,
I was going to say, Michael, is any of this useful?
Sorry, Michael.
Way
Yeah,
off topic,
it is.
mate.
my feeling is that actually, go for whatever, just go out there, not
Whatever
looking
age.
for love, looking for companionship, looking for friendship. It may turn into love. The age is really immaterial, but my experience suggests that somebody roughly in your age bracket, you do share, you have more in common.
But with both our callers here, the pandemic has changed their life, and the most
Yes.
important thing, you've got to get out now.
Yeah.
You do.
Right?
And these apps, I don't use apps, but they are very
Don't
good.
need
I
to.
know a lot of people, but there are, a lot of people who use them of all age groups. And I think what you have, Michael, is you have a passion for something. You have the passion for motor racing, as Jill did, and horse racing. And they are very sociable sports. So it is a matter of going out there, I don't know, getting a camper van and staying over at Silverstone for the weekend or whatever, because there are all sorts of events that go on.
She even travels her own camper van.
Michael, go with someone who makes your heart sing, babes. That's what you need to do.
Even if it's only for an occasional weekend.
Exactly.
But that's frowned on, though, Carol. As you said, people frown on that aspect.
Who cares about what they're saying, babes? You do you.
Yeah.
You
luck,
do
good
you.
luck,
One last
Michael.
thing, which
Good
is-
luck.
Can I just add one last thing, if possible?
Yeah, go on.
To date, my mum and dad have been married for 61 years, which I know I'm never going to reach 61 years of marriage with anybody. I don't think I'll ever get married again. But today's the 61st of my mum and dad's wedding anniversary, and I just wanted to give a shout out
So
to them.
happy anniversary.
And it's worth
Diamond
saying,
plus
it's worth
one.
saying people are looking for love. Interesting to hear your views, but actually there are lots of people out there
want that.
who do want that,
Yeah.
and there are lots of examples. Michael's parents are one of people. Every marriage, I've been married for nearly 50 years. Every marriage will have its ups and downs. Life has ups and downs, but the rewards of actually living with one person. Oh,
No, and I don't disagree with that. And I'm not saying people shouldn't be happily
we
married,
don't.
and I'm not saying that. The view I am putting forward is a view that isn't often expressed.
Yeah. And not talked about.
And not talked about, and it's a taboo, particularly relating to women, and I want to smash it.
Quite
Yeah,
right.
good
Now,
for
this,
you,
is,
Carol.
this is an experiment that could have gone terribly wrong, but I think we both agree this is a rip-roaring success. Sadly, we're 22 minutes over on this. We now simply
you
have to
so
move on.
much.
Thank you so much. But let's do this
Carol
again.
Vorderman.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
date
That was great. The date busters were great. Let's do this again.
Ain't afraid to know dates. Still to come from half-price toys to free underwear. Charles is sticking around. I'll keep on going. Holly Smith is back with her weekend deals. We'll see you after the break.
Brilliant.